Toyota's brought me back out to the San Diego area to drive the all-new Toyota Prius. Definitely stay tuned for my driving impressions and full information when it comes to MPGs, pricing, etc. But while I was flying from Florida to California, news dropped out of Europe talking about Toyota's electrified future. I'll cover all the details on my second channel of that electrified future because it doesn't really apply to us in America per se, and it's going to be very lengthy. Instead, I wanted to break down the new CHR, so let's get into it. Toyota CHR Prologue, the bold becomes bolder. So what we're looking at here is a concept, and it's not the first time we saw this concept, but let's read what they have to say in this bullet point. Since its launch, Toyota CHR has been recognized for its groundbreaking design, unique identity. Now Toyota is ready to share a vision of how it's going to raise the bar by bringing even more excitement and boldness to the iconic C SUV. So let's break down these images. And it's, like I said, it's not the first time we've seen this vehicle. It is essentially this guy right here, small SUV. There's no doubt that Toyota could plan on bringing this vehicle as a full battery electric at some point in time. But let's focus on what we have going here. Now, the front end has the same sort of general outline of lights, kind of the lobster claws that we saw on the BZ compact SUV, which is also detailed in this press release. And of course, on the new Prius. It looks a little too gaudy for me though up front, at least with the lights. We'll talk about the mouth here in a little bit. Massive wheels, no surprise there with pretty much all of Toyota's new vehicles. The handle is flush into the door, and then we don't even see the rear handle until I think this will be the rear handle. Now keep in mind, this is a prototype / prologue. It is a concept. So there are some things that are going to change about it, but really I would expect this general outline to be the same. Now, we have a triple color scheme going on. We have the silver, we have a lot of black. Now, it's not the first time we've seen a similar sort of paint scheme with the new Crown, for example. On the Crown Hybrid Max, you get, or the Platinum here in America, it's got this two-tone option, which I don't think makes the vehicle look better. And I would be interested to see what this looks like without this like two-tone. I do like this tritone though. I know I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I do like the orange up top here, and I like this orange / bronze here at the bottom. This is very busy rear end. I'm getting vibes a little bit of the Toyota Venza, and that's not a bad thing. Here's another look from the back. Here it is from the side, and it looks potentially smaller than the current CHR. And if you thought the current CHR had small windows in the back and a small, or let's say a massive blind spot, I would only imagine that this would be a nightmare. Now, notice that there are no side mirrors. So maybe Toyota in Europe is expecting this vehicle to have digital side mirrors to help with those blind spot issues. Here's another look from the top. There's no doubt it looks pretty cool. I think this would be a glass roof, but it's kind of hard to tell. And keep in mind, this is a concept. But I want to go back to the front end. And this is the only thing of the vehicle that really makes me like stand back. This is awfully aggressive here. We thought the new Avalon, rest in peace Avalon, right? We thought that was aggressive, but this is like it's too much for me to process up front here. If they just used this kind of honeycomb and just used it across without all these additional mouths on here, this thing is like, it got 4 different mouths. It feels like it's a little too much. Hopefully in the production variant, they toned this sort of front end down on the CHR. But the lights themselves are pretty cool, but these quad beam things do look a little out of place in my opinion. As I'm reading through the press release, most of it is the history of the CHR, a little bit of the development and the design of the new CHR as well. They call this a face to remember and call it the hammerhead face. I think it's way more off-setting or off-putting, maybe is the right words, than even like the BZ4X. So let's read about this hybrid setup. The CHR Prologue is also demonstrating Toyota's commitment to carbon neutrality, bringing a wider electrification offer for the largest and most competitive segment in Europe, the compact SUV. The new plug-in Toyota CHR with European assembled batteries, in addition to the hybrid version, will further strengthen Toyota's multi-technology lineup. I would take a stab, and it's hard to say since this battery pack is going to be produced in Europe, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is to the same specs as what we see on the new Prius Prime or Prius plug-in. I would think Toyota would want to have a universal battery size for their C platform vehicles, which the CHR, ironically, C is, as well as the Prius. And then the K platform already has the 18.1 kilowatt hour battery made with Panasonic. Now, I can't find it in the press release, but I believe this vehicle, the CHR, will be out in Europe by the end of 2023. I'm just going to go out on a limb. I don't know. This is just my gut feeling. I don't know if we'll see the CHR in America for a second generation. Let's just go over to the sales here in America to kind of demonstrate why. It hit our market in 2017, peaked in 2018, has been on a decline ever since. In 2022, we got the new Corolla Cross, which is a similar it's the same platform, similar sort of segment as well, but it is a more capable vehicle. And now it's coming out with a hybrid early next year. Now look at these quarterly sales for CHR. This is, if this isn't a cancellation of it here in America, I don't know what else would be. Maybe there's a supply shortage and they're just not able to sell models here. But the Q4, and this is a Q4 so far, but look at Q3. It was only 1,200 units, and they were used to selling 12,000 units or so per quarter back in 2018. If we look at the per month sales here, there's not a lot going on for the CHR. They had at most 2,000 units in April, and then it got as bad in August down to 291 units. So CHR, I think its days are numbered here in America. The second generation, I just don't see coming since we have the Corolla Cross hybrid now coming to the market. And the new CHR in some ways is kind of like crossover Prius. I'm assuming that it's going to have the same 2-liter plug-in hybrid setup and maybe a 1.8 liter or 2-liter hybrid setup like the Prius gets around, well, should I say in Japan. We don't get the 1.8 liter anymore on the new Prius. So CHR, I'm sure you'll do great in Europe. It's more of a European focused vehicle or Asian focused vehicle. They just brought it to America to give Americans more choice. And I know a lot of people really enjoy their CHRs. It's super reliable, fun to drive for an SUV because it's small and nimble. But yeah, I'm going to end it there. Check out my review of the CHR. Definitely stay tuned for more Prius news. And definitely check out my second channel where I'll break down this full press release here, talking about Toyota Europe on track to achieve carbon neutrality by 2040. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.